Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. P.K. Ahluwalia from Physics Department, Himachal Pradesh University, Shimla. Today we are going to talk on module An Overview of Thermodynamics Part 1 from paper Statistical Mechanics. So students, let us see what we are going to learn in this module. We are going to describe the state of the system in terms of various thermodynamic variables. Understand that basic postulates of thermodynamics have a phenomenological basis and how an axiomatic status in these postulates corroborated by experiments write differential form of first law of thermodynamics for a single component system and multi-component system, differentiate between quasi-static, reversible and irreversible processes, relate extensive variables with intensive variables in energy representation and entropy representation and arrive at equations of state. Differentiate between exact differentials and inexact differentials. Learn how extensive nature of internal energy leads to Euler equation and differential form of Euler equation along with differential form of first law of thermodynamics leads to Gibbs-Duhem relation. This module has been developed for postgraduate level as per the following topics: thermodynamics as an phenomenological theory having a strong empirical basis, thermodynamical terms, thermodynamic transformation types, notion of thermodynamical and generalized coordinates, basic postulates of equilibrium thermodynamics, phenomenological way of looking at macroscopic systems, fundamental relations and intensive variables, Euler relation and Gibbs-Duhem relation. Thermodynamics as a phenomenological theory. Thermodynamics embodies a systematic empirical knowledge about thermal behavior of the macroscopic systems in terms of the state of the system. Therefore, it is a phenomenological theory with well-established terminology. The aim of this module and next module is to have a recapitulation of the various concepts which are needed in statistical mechanics, wherever a link with the state of the system is to be made experimentally. These states most often shall be in a state of equilibrium as described in module 3. We will to begin with try to understand the meaning of some thermodynamical terms in terms of the state variables. What's the meaning of a state variable? State variables describe the state of the thermodynamic system, which is a macroscopic system, in terms of a minimum number of variables known as state variables or state parameters, which can be measured, and for each of these we have an intuitive feeling. These are, for example, volume V, pressure P, temperature T, magnetic field H, etc. These are also known as thermodynamic variables or macroscopic variables. The state of the system is often described in terms of the equation of state. An equation of state is a functional relationship between minimum numbers of state variables, and this relationship in the form of functional relationship is called equation of state. For example, to describe the state of a gaseous system, we require three thermodynamic variables or parameters P, V, and T. The equation of state of such a system can be expressed as a function of pressure, volume, and temperature equal to 0. The two well-known examples of equation of states are ideal gas equation of state and van der Waals equation of state for a real gas. The ideal gas equation of state is PV is equal to RT, where R is called the gas constant. And van der Waals equation of state is P plus A upon V square multiplied by V minus B is equal to RT is the van der Waals equation of state for the real gas. Let us have a sampling of equations of state. This table describes equations of states encountered in various physical systems, the corresponding state variables, and the equation of state. For example, in a monoatomic monophase gas, the static variables are P, V, and T, and the two well-known equations of state are PV is equal to RT, classical ideal equation of state, and P plus A upon V square multiplied by V minus V is equal to RT, a classical real gas equation of state. In the case of a paramagnetic substance, the state variables are the magnetic field H, the magnetic moment M, and the temperature T. The corresponding equation of state is M is equal to N upon mu V tan hyperbolic mu V H upon kBT. For a system of particles interacting through two particle potential, the state variables are pressure P, number density N, temperature T, and the equation of state is P is equal to N kBT minus N upon 2d kBT integration du by dr rgr into dr. In the case of a non-relativistic Bose gas, the equation of state PVT is PV upon N kBT is equal to the ratio of Bose integrals and the variable Z, which is fugacity. In the case of a non-relativistic Fermi gas, the state variables are P, V, and T, where PV upon N kBT is equal to ratio of the Fermi integrals, which again are functions of fugacity Z. In the case of equation of state of a solid, which we also called Morganan equation of state, the state variables are P and V, and is P is equal to K naught upon K naught dash multiplied by V upon V naught raised to power minus K naught dash minus 1, where K naught and K naught dash are respectively the bulk modulus and derivative of bulk modulus with respect to pressure. Equation of state of a photon gas has P and T as state variables, and we can write it in the form of the well-known Stefan-Boltzmann law. P is equal to a constant multiplied by fourth power of the temperature. In the case of a stretched rubber band, the state variables are force, length of the rubber band, and the temperature. And the equation is F is equal to A T multiplied by L minus L0, where F, L, and T are respectively tension, length, and temperature. L naught is the length of the rubber band when F is equal to 0. Thermodynamic transformation types. These correspond to change of state by change in external conditions of the system. These changes can be classified as quasi-static, reversible, and irreversible. Let us try to understand certain processes which we encounter in statistical mechanics. First of all, let us look at a quasi-static process. A quasi-static process is a process when it occurs so slowly that at each step it is in equilibrium described by thermodynamic variables. Quasi-static processes are carried out extremely slowly. For example, in this graph, this process is being described which is expansion of an ideal gas at constant temperature. Let us see what's an irreversible process. In an irreversible process, change occurs so fast that during the process, thermodynamic variables P, V, and T cannot be defined. This actually means that during this process, system is not in equilibrium because of number of unexpected reasons such as friction, turbulence, or such situations, or the observation time being much smaller than the time intervals involved at the molecular/atomic level. A non-equilibrium process is always irreversible. Let us see what's an irreversible process. In an irreversible process, change occurs so fast that during the process, thermodynamic variables P, V, and T cannot be defined. This actually means that during this process, system is not in equilibrium because of number of unexpected reasons such as friction, turbulence, or such situations, or the observation time being much smaller than the time intervals involved at the molecular/atomic level. A non-equilibrium process is always irreversible. Now, in this module, in rest of the part, we are going to focus on three main things to understand the postulates of thermodynamics. And these three things are internal energy U, heat Q, and work W. Let us try to understand the meaning of internal energy. When a system is in a state of equilibrium, which happens when it is isolated, energy of the system is a conserved quantity. That is, total energy E is a well-defined quantity. If a system is in a thermal equilibrium with its surroundings, say a heat reservoir, its energy may fluctuate, but its average energy, denoted by angular bracket begins E, angular bracket closes, is again a well-defined quantity. In certain systems, this total energy may contain a part which may be termed as mechanical energy. For example, part of the energy possessed by the system in a gravitational field, or kinetic energy of the system as a result of its overall motion, and these energies, which can be used easily, need to be separated from the thermodynamic equilibrium. The rest of the energy possessed by the system is then called internal energy U. If there is no mechanical energy of the center of mass of the system in thermal equilibrium, the total energy of the system is the internal energy. Change in internal energy of the system and first law of thermodynamics are closely related with each other. In fact, a very important question to ask at this point is, can we change the internal energy of the system? Answer is yes, by performing work on the system or by supplying heat Q to it. Interestingly, energy which you supply to the system by placing it on a hot plate cannot be described by saying that work is heat. Work can be performed in the system by mechanical, say for example by compressing a gas, or by electromagnetic means. Heat and work can be given to the system and extracted from it by a variety of methods. This may lead to change in its potential energy. This is what first law of thermodynamics tells us. If we supply a system heat Q and perform work W, the change in internal energy delta U is equal to Q plus W. It needs to be noted that Q and W are not state variables. You cannot describe these when a system is in thermal equilibrium. For a system in thermal equilibrium, it is meaningless to say that there is this much amount of heat and there is this much amount of work. Heat and work come into picture when we go from one state of equilibrium to another. Let us look at the first law of thermodynamics in differential form. it is written as du is equal to delta q plus delta w. We may replace u by E if there is no mechanical energy of the center of mass of the system. Note here, du is an exact or perfect differential, whereas delta q and delta w are inexact differentials. It will be worth having a brief digression on the meaning of exact and inexact differentials encountered in the mathematical statement of the first law of thermodynamics. Let us spend some time in discussing these. A differential df is said to be exact if the function f exists, that is, df is equal to ax dx. Also, integral of dfx in going from point x1 to point x2 is equal to fx1 minus fx2, that is, it is independent of the path followed. If df is exact, it is a state variable or function of the system. Best examples are internal energy U, entropy S, magnetic field H, and so on. To extend it to a case of more than one variables, the perfect differential of a function of two variables x and y also satisfies this condition when it goes from a point x1 y1 to point x2 y2, such that integral from x1 y1 to x2 y2 of dfxy is equal to fx1 y1 minus fx2 y2, something which is independent of the path. If a differential is not perfect, then we represent it by delta f, implying it is merely an infinitesimal quantity, and in going from x1 to x2, if we take the integral of this delta fx, answer will not come out to be equal to fx1 minus fx2. Extending this to the case of more than one variables, integral from x1 y1 to x2 y2 over delta fxy will not be equal to fx1 y1 minus fx2 y2. There are some other interesting results corresponding to perfect or exact differentials. Let us take a perfect differential dfxy such that dfxy is equal to pxy dx plus qxy dy, where pxy and qxy are continuous functions with their partial derivatives delta p upon delta x, delta p upon delta y, delta q upon delta x, delta q upon delta y also continuous. Then if df is exact, then pxy and qxy must satisfy the condition delta p of delta y at constant x must be equal to delta q by delta x at constant y, and hence delta f upon delta x at constant y is equal to pxy, and delta f with respect to delta y at constant x is equal to qxy, implying that delta 2f by delta y into delta x must be equal to delta 2f by delta x into delta y. At this juncture, it will be worth revisiting the notion of thermodynamic or macroscopic generalized coordinates. We talked about these in module 3 also. These are the new set of coordinates which do not require detailed knowledge of various configurations of the system described in terms of position coordinates and the momentum coordinates of individual particles of the system. However, they are new set of coordinates describing in a collective way the motion of all these particles of the system. For example, entropy not requiring solution of the equations of motion of each of the particles, and we can always associate a generalized force with it, for example T, such that delta Q is equal to T ds or delta W is equal to P dV. We can recognize many such generalized coordinates and generalized forces which form conjugate pairs. After having this brief digression on exact differentials and inexact differentials, let us once again look at the processes in an ideal gas under various conditions, the corresponding equation of state, work done, and heat capacity in each case. Let us look at first the isobaric process. The condition for this to be so is that pressure is equal to constant, that is, pressure is not changing, that is, dP is equal to 0. The corresponding equation of state is V upon T is equal to constant. Work done under this process is pressure multiplied by the change in volume V2 minus V1, R into T2 minus T1, and the heat capacity is Cp. In the case of isothermal process, the condition is temperature is equal to constant, that is, the change in temperature dt is equal to 0, and the equation of state is Pv is equal to constant, the famous Boyle's law, and the work done is RT log of V2 upon V1, and the heat capacity is plus minus infinity. In the case of isochoric process, the condition is V is equal to constant, change in volume is equal to 0, and the equation of state is P upon T is equal to constant. The work done in this case is 0, and the heat capacity is called Cv. In the case of adiabatic process, the condition is delta Q is equal to 0, ds is equal to 0, equation of state is Pv raised to power gamma is equal to constant, or Tv raised to power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant, where gamma is the ratio of specific heat at constant pressure to specific heat at constant volume, or work done is RT1 upon gamma minus 1 multiplied by 1 minus V1 upon V2 raised to power gamma minus 1, and the heat capacity is 0. Let us look at basic postulates of equilibrium thermodynamics. It is indeed a phenomenological way of looking at macroscopic systems. The fundamental problem which needs to be formulated for a given macroscopic system in equilibrium thermodynamics is how to determine the final equilibrium state of a macroscopic system and describe it. This problem is addressed through a set of basic postulates of thermodynamics which cannot be proved from some known laws but must be taken as fundamental axioms whose validity lies in their applications, predictions, matching with experimental results, pointing towards its phenomenological methodology. Incidentally, thermodynamic or macroscopic state of a system can be fully described in terms of a very small number of thermodynamic variables with introduction of additional number of thermodynamical variables to take care of complexities as and when these arise. Let us now state the first postulate of equilibrium thermodynamics. This postulate states that the equilibrium states of a macroscopic system can be fully described in terms of a set of extensive variables, including its internal energy U. The other extensive variables or parameters being volume V and the number of particles in the system N or more as per the typical thermodynamic system. The second postulate of equilibrium thermodynamics states that there exists an extensive parameter or a variable called entropy S, which is a function of extensive parameters U, V and N, which is defined for all equilibrium states of the system. This function contains all the information of the system and is a fundamental equation of the system. It has following properties. Number 1, S is continuous and differentiable and is monotonically increasing function of internal energy, provided all other extensive variables are kept constant. This implies that delta S upon delta U is greater than 0, which actually means that temperature T is greater than 0. Number 2, the entropy S of a composite system, a system made up of macroscopic subsystems, is an additive quantity, implying thereby that it is an extensive parameter itself, that is S is equal to S1 plus S2 plus S3 and so on up to Sn. Third, it also means that entropy is a homogeneous function of first degree in all its variables, that is S of lambda u, lambda v and lambda n is equal to lambda times S of u, v and n. Third basic postulate of equilibrium thermodynamics states, if a macroscopic state is not in a state of equilibrium, its entropy will be less than the entropy of the equilibrium state with same values of extensive variables on which it depends. However, left to itself for the fixed values of extensive variables, a non-equilibrium state shall gain entropy to reach the equilibrium state, implying that entropy will be maximum for the equilibrium state. Also, entropy of a system is zero in the state where delta U by delta S at constant V and N is equal to 0, that is T is equal to 0. This is also called Nernst's theorem. To see the connection between fundamental thermodynamic relations and intensive variables, we must appreciate the first and second postulates together, which define a fundamental relation S is equal to S, U, V and N, where we limit ourselves to only three extensive variables, the simplest possible system. But this relationship is not unique in the sense that we may solve this to write U is equal to a function of S, V and N, or V is equal to a function of S, U and N, or N is equal to a function of S, V and U, each being a homogeneous function of first order. However, we shall confine to only the first two relations known as entropy representation and energy representation respectively, and see how intensive variables can be defined from these relations. Let us first look at the energy representation and write down it in differential form. That is, du is equal to delta u by delta S at constant V and N ds plus delta u by delta V at constant S and N dV plus delta u by delta N at constant S and V dN, where subscripts represent the variables which are to be kept constant while taking the partial derivatives. In terms of conservation of energy, this change in internal energy must be equal to heat, mechanical work performed for compression, and chemical energy resulting from raising the number of particles. du is equal to Tds minus Pdv plus mu dN. Comparing 1 and 2, we get the following relationship for three intensive variables. Temperature T is equal to partial derivative of U with respect to S at constant V and N. Pressure P is equal to negative of partial derivative of U with respect to V at constant S and N. Chemical potential mu is equal to partial derivative of U with respect to number of particles N at constant S and V. Let us also look at the entropy representation and write down it in differential form. That is, ds is equal to partial derivative of S with respect to U at constant V and N du plus partial derivative of S with respect to V at constant U and N dV plus partial derivative of S with respect to N at constant U and V dN. ds is equal to 1 upon T du plus P upon T dV minus mu upon T dN. Comparing 6 and 7 gives us the following relationship for three intensive variables. That is, temperature can be written as 1 upon capital T is equal to partial derivative of S with respect to partial derivative of U at constant V and N. Pressure can be written in terms of the relationship P upon T is equal to partial derivative of S with respect to V at constant U and N. Chemical potential can be written in terms of negative of chemical potential divided by temperature is equal to partial derivative of S with respect to N at constant U and V. The above idea can be extended beautifully to get new results. For example, by identifying other pairs of conjugate variables as stated earlier, whose product gives us energy, for example, velocity v and momentum p, angular velocity omega and angular momentum L, electrical field E and polarization P, magnetic field H and magnetization M, leading to du is equal to TdS minus PdV plus mu dN plus VdP plus omega dL plus EdP plus HdM. For multi-component systems containing more than one type of particles, the above equation becomes du is equal to TdS minus PdV plus summation over all the components chemical potential of the component I multiplied by the change in number of the component I plus VdP plus omega dL plus EdP plus HdM. From the fact that internal energy U, which is a function of S, V and N, is an extensive quantity, we can describe two useful relations known as Euler relation and Gibbs-Duhem relation. Let us note, extensivity implies that U as a function of lambda S, lambda V and lambda N is equal to lambda times U as a function of S, V and N alone. Taking the derivative of both sides with respect to lambda, we get delta U with respect to lambda S multiplied by S is equal to partial derivative of U with respect to lambda V multiplied by V plus partial derivative of U with respect to lambda N multiplied by N is equal to U as a function of S, V and N. If we put lambda is equal to 1, we find it results in the relation Ts minus Pv plus mu n is equal to U. In differential form, this can be written as Tds minus Pdv plus mu dn plus sdt minus vdp plus n dmu is equal to du. This is true only if s dt minus vdp plus n dmu is equal to 0. That is, dmu is equal to v upon n dp minus s upon n dt. This relation is known as Gibbs-Duhem relation. From the fact that internal energy U, which is a function of S, V and N, is an extensive quantity, we can describe two useful relations known as Euler relation and Gibbs-Duhem relation. Let us note, extensivity implies that U as a function of lambda S, lambda V and lambda N is equal to lambda times U as a function of S, V and N alone. Taking the derivative of both sides with respect to lambda, we get delta U with respect to lambda S multiplied by S is equal to partial derivative of U with respect to lambda V multiplied by V plus partial derivative of U with respect to lambda N multiplied by N is equal to U as a function of S, V and N. If we put lambda is equal to 1, we find it results in the relation Ts minus Pv plus mu n is equal to U. In differential form, this can be written as Tds minus Pdv plus mu dn plus sdt minus vdp plus n dmu is equal to du. This is true only if s dt minus vdp plus n dmu is equal to 0. That is, dmu is equal to v upon n dp minus s upon n dt. This relation is known as Gibbs-Duhem relation. So students, let us now summarize what we have learnt in this module. We have learnt that state of a system is described in terms of thermodynamic variables, also called macroscopic variables. That equation of state is a functional relationship between minimum number of state parameters needed for describing the state of the system. That there are variety of thermodynamic processes which may occur in a thermodynamic system and can be classified as quasi-static, reversible and irreversible processes. That first law of thermodynamics is law of conservation of energy, which relates internal energy, a perfect differential, with heat and work, which are inexact differentials of heat and work done under various conditions. About processes undergone by an ideal gas under different conditions, leading to different equations of state, work done, and heat capacity of the system. Basic postulates of equilibrium thermodynamics provide us a phenomenological way of looking at macroscopic systems such that second postulate defines entropy and third postulate gives Nernst's theorem. Understand the entropic representation, energy representation, number representation, and volume representation of thermodynamic relations. How to get intensive variables in terms of extensive variables, starting from entropic representation and energy representation. The derivation of Euler relation and Gibbs-Duhem relation using extensive property of internal energy. Thank you.